Hey y'all, so now that we've figured out how to combine like terms 2 videos ago, and in the most recent video you guys learned how to distribute. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that in this video and we're going to put those concepts together, and we're going to actually learn how to solve now a 3-step equation. For these first 4 examples, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys how to solve these by combining like terms if you only have to combine like terms in the problem. And then down below we're going to see some examples where the 3rd step you have to take is when you have to distribute, okay? So for these top 4, we're combining like terms, and you might remember that I use different shapes or different colors in my video where I taught you guys how to combine like terms. When we look at this expression over here, we see that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 terms, and first what we need to do, our first step is to combine like terms. So I'm going to take these negative 7w's plus these 17w's, and I'm going to combine those. And if you guys want to draw your boxes around those terms, remember you got to include the symbol in your box. So negative 7w's plus 17w's is going to be 10w's. And then we're going to put a circle here around the constant. We have negative 5 plus 15 and then plus 2. Me personally, I think I'd rather go ahead and take the 15 plus the 2 and make that a 17, and then just do this 17 minus the 5, and 17 minus 5 is 12. And since it's a positive 12, I'm going to put a plus 12 right here. And then I'm just going to bring down the equals negative 18. So our first step is to combine like terms, okay? Friendly reminder that you could have done the negative 5 plus 15 and been at positive 10, and then 10 plus 2 would have been 12, and it's the same thing. Now for our second step, what we need to do here is we're going to get rid of the constant. So we're going to minus the 12 and we're going to minus the 12 on both sides. Here the 12 cancels out and I'm going to bring down the 10w. And here when you have 18 negatives and 12 more negatives, that's actually 30 negatives. So this is a negative 30. Careful not to be tempted to make that a negative 6. Some people see the 18 and the minus 12, but since it's a negative 18, think about if you're already 18 feet underwater and you go 12 more feet underwater, now you're 30 feet underwater. All right, and now for our third step here, what we need to do is simply divide both sides by the coefficient here, the 10. And we're going to cancel out, and w here is going to be a negative 3. So you can see I kind of color-coded it for y'all. The red step is our first step. We're just combining like terms. Then the purple and the green here, this is what you're used to. These are the last 2 steps of a 2-step equation. So you can see here that that's 3 steps total, and that's why this is solving a 3-step equation. All right, now for the one next to it, again, let's just go ahead in red here. Let's combine like terms. I see these 6y's, and these 6y's I'm going to combine minus 12y. So 6 minus 12 is a negative 6y. And then we have a negative 4 plus 8. And if you do negative 4 plus 8, that's a positive 4. So we took care of our first step where we just had to combine like terms. All right, now let's get rid of the constant. The constant here is a positive 4, so I'm going to subtract 4 on both sides. And I'm going to bring down the negative 6y. And over here, 52 minus 4 is a 48. And now we're going to divide both sides by the coefficient. So I'm going to divide here by a negative 6. And the y here is going to equal negative 8. And that's because 48 divided by negative 6 is negative 8. I'm sorry, that looks a little weird. Let me erase that and make that a better 8 for y'all. Okay, so again, 3 simple steps. Negative 8. And now for these next 2, what I did was I put parentheses in the problems to kind of remind you guys that from the beginning, in that very first step, when you're combining like terms, if you see the minus the negative 2x, you want to treat that as a plus 2x. And in the other example over here, where there was a plus the negative 3, that's just saying like minus 3. So we can kind of ignore the plus in this situation. Now for this one over here, though, we've got the negative 8x. And again, that double negative turned into a plus 2x. So negative 8 plus 2 is negative 6x. Negative 3 plus 7 is positive 4, so I'm going to put plus 4. And this equals 10. So we took care of the first step to combine like terms. All right, now the second step in green, we're going to get rid of the constant. So 10 minus 4 is 6. And I'm going to bring down the negative 6x. Now I'm going to divide both sides by my coefficient of negative 6. And x here would be a negative 1. And for this last problem here, I already mentioned that when you see adding a negative, it's the same thing as just seeing 5x minus 3. So first we'll do the x's. Let's take care of the x's. We got 3x here plus 5x. And so that's going to be 8x. And now if we do 7 minus 4, this 7 minus 4 is 3. Okay, 7 minus 4 is 3. And then when I take away another 3, 3 minus 3 is 0. So that actually cancels out all the way, and I don't need to put a plus 0, and we can just put equals 16. So there are times when the constants all the way cancel each other out, and there's no constant in the problem. And if that's the case, we don't actually have this green step to worry about. We can just skip straight to the step of dividing here, and we get here that x is a 2. So that might happen sometimes when you're going to combine like terms. One of the terms might cancel out altogether, in which case this is now just 2 things total you had to do, and we saved ourselves a step here in green. All right, so these 4 were just when you had to combine like terms only. That was the first step to combine, and then you had the 2 steps left over. So now what we're going to look at is 4 more examples where the first step is going to be to distribute. We're going to distribute first, and then we'll have a 2-step equation left over to solve. Okay, so our first step here in red, we're going to distribute. We've got 3 sets of 2c minus 7. So 3 sets of 2c is going to be 6c, and 3 sets of this negative 7 is going to be minus 21. All right, now we're ready for our second step here in green to get rid of the constant. Since the constant here is a negative 21, we're going to add 21 to both sides to cancel it out. All right, so then we're going to bring down the 6c. And over here, this 15 plus 21 is a 36. So our last step here, we're going to divide both sides now by the 6. Those coefficients cancel out, and c here is 6. c equals 6. All right, for the one next to it over here, when we're distributing, you might have to distribute a negative number. This one we distributed a positive 3, but here we're going to distribute a negative 5. And negative 5 times 2x is going to be a negative 10x. And negative 5 times 4 is negative 20. All right, so we took care of the first step, which is to distribute. Now here we're going to add the 20 on both sides. Get rid of our constant. And I'm going to bring down the negative 10x. And 56 here plus 20 is 76. And now we're going to divide both sides by the negative 10. That's going to cancel out. And here x is going to equal a negative 7.6. As you guys head into algebra next school year, you're going to start to see answers which are decimals like this. It used to be that if you were to get like a 76 and a 10 here, you might think, oh, I did something wrong because I'm not supposed to get a decimal answer. But at this point, since you guys are getting ready to head into 8th grade, this is totally fair game. All right, now for the third example here, we're distributing a negative 1. Remember that that negative on the outside technically has a negative 1. So you could think of it as negative 1 times and then negative 1 times. Or the way I like to think of it is just to take the opposite of everything I see in here in parentheses. So the opposite of g is negative g. And the opposite of negative 3 is plus 3. Now again, I'm going to write the 1 just to help a lot of you see that negative 1 times g is negative 1g, and negative 1 times negative 3 is a positive 3. So that's me distributing. I took care of that first step. Now for the second step, I'm going to subtract the 3 on both sides in green here to get rid of the constant. Those cancel out, and I'm left with negative 1g over here. And 18 minus 3 is 15. Now we're going to divide both sides here by this negative 1, because we want g to be a positive g all by itself. And so here, the 15 divided by negative 1 is negative 15. So you can see our 3 steps here. We distributed in red, got rid of the constant in green, and then divided by the coefficient in purple. And now here we are on the last example here, where we're going to distribute a fraction. I just wanted to see another example of that for you guys. So a half of a negative 6 is a negative 3. And so half a negative 6f is negative 3f. Half of 10 would be 5, and since it's a positive 5, I'm going to put plus 5. All right, now for the next step. So that was the first step, we distributed. Now we're going to get rid of the constant. So I'm going to bring down the negative 3f. And here, if you're already 1 feet underwater and you go 5 more feet underwater, you're 6 feet underwater. And here now we're going to divide by the negative coefficient, negative 3. That's going to cancel out. And here f is going to equal a positive 2. Negative divided by negative is a positive number, positive 2. Okay? So on this page, I taught you guys how to solve 3-step equations. And what the third step might be is down here. It might be the red thing where you have to distribute, or it could be the red thing here where you have to combine like terms. We've already spent lots of time this school year learning how to solve a 2-step equation when you got to get rid of the constant and the coefficient. So this part would just be 2-step. And like I'm saying, the third step that I've added in here now is to first either combine like terms or to distribute. And what you guys are going to do now is you're going to flip over and you're going to practice solving these on your own. And then there's an independent practice online for you, okay? That concludes this video. Thank you for watching.